The battle frontier is a place where people from all over the Pokemon world come to do battle. Battling in Pokemon usually involves some kind of flavor text or greeting before and after the battle takes place, to make it seem like you're not just battling endless drones in a dimly lit windowless tower while a soulless referee watches on. This flavor text from the NPCs ranges from the benign to the deranged, from the wonderful to the absurd, and everything in between. Today, I'll be looking at the best and most bizarre of the NPC sayings and talking about how they're constructed. I've taken a good look at the things that the NPCs say in both Generations 3 and 4, and noted 5 categories of things that they tend to say. There's the store brand flavorless text, statements that would imply that they're real people, a category that I will call, the comedic, and the occasional profound statement. The basic quotes are the ones you probably expect from battle facility trainers. Stuff like, yo yo, let's have a fun time, and ho, you are tough, give me a rematch. It's not that the stuff is bad, but it's expected. It's perfectly suitable flavor text from a trainer that you will fight once. Fight several times while trying to get a symbol from one of the frontier brands, and then forget about, for the most part. When people talk about how crazy the Battle Tower trainers are and how the things they say are deranged, they're not talking about these guys. The comedic ones are obviously a little more subjective, since what people find funny is pretty varied. For me, I find the ones that are obviously deliberately goofy and boisterous pretty funny. Like Ace Trainer Lionel, who punctuates each of his 3 phrases with a hearty foi, including when he loses and the only thing he says is foi. Or Battlegirl Eva, who does her best to cosplay a comic book from the 50s with her phrases sha, hoo, and hua. I really enjoy Black Belt Gene's confession when he says, I've never actually learned to do karate. If you beat him, he confesses further that he just thinks black belts are cool, and that's why he dresses up like one. Rock on, Gene. Black Belt Jonas also keeps it simple when he loses by declaring that because he sweated more, he is the victor. Perhaps at the World Sweating Competition, where you would be lucky to beat the likes of me, but not in Pokemon battles, Jonas. And finally, Collector Edmund has a relatable quote for all of us let down by people who would just go on the internet and lie. He says, I got tips from my online buddies on how to best raise my gang, and when he loses, says, well, this blows, my online buddies let me down. Bonus points also for when he wins and says, I don't know who they are though, which is kind of the relationship I have with my commenters. Other times, the battle facility trainers want us to look inwards and ask why we're doing all of this. Why we battle, why we train, why we pay $90 for an underdeveloped game each year despite knowing it will be unpolished. Ace Trainer Herman asks us, why get all intellectual about things? If it's fun, why question it? Very good, Herman, very living in the moment of you. Or Battlegirl Sylvia, who draws our attention to the futility of battle, by noting in each outcome, I lost, that's all, and I won, that's all. Sylvia's poignant reflections are cold comfort for those on their 87th Battle Factory gold print attempt, only to lose to a Quick-Claw Horndrill, but I appreciate the effort to bring battling to a more philosophical point than meaningless fighting among strangers for near-worthless tokens. Birdkeeper Ali is perhaps better suited for consoling those losing on their 48th battle by noting that there's lots in life that doesn't go the way you want. Very true, Ali, thank you. That's no comfort to me at all, but thank you. There's also the statements from NPCs that kind of imply that they're not just battling drones who exist to lose or try to hit share cold on you 96 battles in. There's a child who runs in and says that he does not want to study more, implying that he actually attends some kind of educational institution outside of the battle frontier. It's not clear whether he means trainer school or an actual school, but that's kind of okay. There's also a possibility for trainers to make reference to the fact that they have jobs to go to outside of battling. It's still not clear whether this is just their weekend hobby that they do, because Generation 3 does not have a calendar system or the concept of days. The developers added the possibility of this flavor text, which is great, but where in the world do these people work or study? Who knows? Then there's the statements that are just completely out of pocket, so totally unexpected and random that you would never have expected that a real NPC said them. The classic example, and the one that made me want to look into this, is when one of the Generation 3 NPCs enters the room and yells in all caps, "Pound the thick fat on my belly drum." I'm completely awed by this statement, and I just have no idea what to make of it. There are others that say absolutely nothing at all, including one NPC who can walk in and just say, "Ha, yeah." I also don't want any more information from the NPC who walks in and says that every battle has a smell. Please do not elaborate on that for me, sir. I also don't know what to say to the fisherman who enters and says that "Mew mew is how I cry." I could go on further, but this is all to say that there is no shortage of the absurd, the abrupt, the intimate, and the downright strange from these NPCs. I honestly could go on all day. I think that the battle facility trainers are a rich piece of world building that adds so much colour to the battle facilities. Given that many facilities would otherwise be windowless towers where battles take place, having people come in and say something slightly deranged makes it significantly more interesting. One additional factor for the Gen 3 battle facility trainers is the fact that their speech is in all caps all the time. And this makes it so much weirder. Honestly, it shouldn't make that much of a difference, but it really does. It just feels like a socially inept boomer is yelling at me every time I enter a room for a battle, no matter what they're actually saying. If it's a taunt, it feels shouted. If it's one of the more deranged phrases, it just amplifies how bizarre it is. I have absolutely no idea why Game Freak couldn't figure out how to turn off caps lock for these trainers, since the regular game trainers don't have this problem, but I must admit, I kind of enjoy it. It is pretty funny. So when one of them says, "Pound the thick fat on my belly drum" in all caps, it really is something. When I started researching for this video, I wanted to find a text dump of all the phrases that the trainers used for the Frontier, so I could manually scan for the most deranged ones. But I couldn't find it, and I wondered why. Surely somewhere in the decompilation there would be a set of files that lays it out there. I did find a text file that included all of the non-Frontier language used by NPCs in the game, but the Frontier battle trainers were missing from it. I was extra confused because I very quickly and easily found such a database for Generation 4's Frontier trainers, with all of their phrases laid out clearly. And then I found the Easy Chat system. Now, those who already knew this will be laughing at me and saying, of course it's the Easy Chat system, didn't you realize that's what it was? And that's all well and good, but I genuinely didn't realize that these were procedurally generated phrases from a bank of words in the game. Most players will be familiar with the Easy Chat system from the people in Dewford Town, who are all into the trendy phrase, or the Berry Master's wife who gives out berries if the player gives her any old phrase. But in the Battle Frontier, the trainers use this to determine their phrases that they say before and after battle. The bank of words and phrases is pretty large, which ensures that there's a decent variety of phrases and that they are not super repetitive. It works by the game calling a function that selects a sentence template. For example, I will verb with my noun for the sake of abstract noun, and then pulling randomized text snippets from categorized text banks to fill the slots in the template. There is obviously some inevitable repetition, but at least every third trainer is not saying the same thing. They're also subject to the same RNG limitations that the rest of the game is, meaning that the RNG is predetermined from a seed at boot up of the game. Practically, this means that if you do something like save a state on an emulator, reload the state, and then advance frames using inputs at exactly the same timing, you will get characters who say exactly the same phrase before they start a battle. I'm sure that manipulated Battle Factory speedruns also run into this in some way or other, depending on how their manips work. The procedural generation of these phrases is quite charming, I think, and something I miss in the context of the fixed dialogue of later generations. It's fun in the same way that giving your Pokemon or player character a goofy nickname is, and something that generative AI would struggle to replicate. I guess there's some element of it in later games where there's a false dialogue choice, but it's not quite the same. Much as I find the writing of games like Scarlet and Violet and Sun and Moon to be quite funny, they're not throwing out clangers like, "I am going to enjoy an egg" in all caps. In any case, these dialogue options are part of what make the Frontier a great addition to the game, and make it worth playing for more than 20 minutes. That's all I had, folks. Did you have a favourite phrase or NPC from the Frontier? Could you come up with any better phrases than the ones I noted here? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, it helps the channel out a bunch. Give me a follow on Twitch if you want to catch some Battle Factory and chat between videos. Thanks for watching.